problem with dry sherry, would you say? Why avoid the dry sherry?
Actually a marketing issue.
Just the people at the time didn't have the...
Well, it was originally for the British market, and what happened was the Brits weren't buying dry sherry. They wanted a sweeter style of wine, and so what they did was they blended in the PX, the Pedro Ximénez, and
quite sweet.
This is what they ended up with, was a cream sherry, because the Pedro Ximénez is almost like, it's thick as cough syrup, but it's just delicious toffee and raisins and coffee, and it's just this party that is in your mouth. It's wonderful.
Now,
anyways,
onto the color. You notice the first thing, and this is to the comment I made earlier about fortifying wines killing them. This color here, this golden color. If this weren't a fortified wine, I'd be incredibly worried about that color.
Yes, nothing should smell like sherry in your wine, except sherry. If your wine smells like sherry, it's probably starting to turn, or has turned quite a long time ago, and you may not want to be drinking it. But, that being said, did you tell me about the Solara method?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I forget.
So the Solara method is how they make sherry, and basically what they do is the lowest row of casks, and they're all stacked up in a room, are the oldest sherries. And then every year what they do is they put new barrels of sherry on top, and the barrels are then drawn from. So they take liquid out and they put it in the barrel below, every year mixing all of the sherries together. And so what ends up happening is you have barrels almost 100 years old in these Solaras, as they're called. So there's no way to ever have a vintage on a sherry. It's just, you have no idea. But it makes for very delicious, well-balanced, consistent wines.
Yeah, but as in contrast to earlier, Nick noted that this particular bottle of KWV's Ruby surprised him a little, and that's because it is distinct and different from, say, a bottle we would have picked up last year. It's non-vintage, but still it changes drastically in some cases from year to year, depending on the harvest and whatever particular batch is most prominent. In the case of sherry, you won't have that. You have this consistent legacy, sort of wine built over the years because of this method.
And we should add that while we are talking about fortifieds, the KWV is somewhere between 17.5 and 20% alcohol, depending on what you're reading. And the Osborne, well, there's no alcohol in that.
Naturally.
Who checks the front of the bottle?
They claim 17. And again, in the case of the Ruby, that 17.5 I think is a bit of a lower bound estimate. They get a little room to play.
About 1.5% barrel.
So in this case, I'd bump it all the way up to at least 19.
Alright, so let's give it a smell and give it a shot. I get a lot of nuts. Almonds.
Maybe walnut as well.
Pecan?
Trying to be
What is it,
specific.
pecan?
Ah, okay. I hear pecan. What is that other...
Just taste that Pedro Ximénez in there.
That is nice. And cream is, I think, a perfect word for it.
Ooh, you get that end? Oh. It's just like an explosion of caramel and different kinds of tree nuts. So you just get almonds and walnuts and pecans and Brazil nuts, and it's just, oh, it's...
All sort of somehow glued together with sugar and then caramelized until it's a delicious treat.
It's like toffee mixed with caramel.
On the way there, it's very... Okay, I'm going to need to fight this bee in a minute. On the way there, it's very...
it's a little dry on the way there.
It starts dry, I agree. It comes in a little smoother. The cream, I think, is right in the middle.
Yeah.
That transition from the dry base, the Oloroso. Then you get the hit of the PX, and you're on your way into dessert land, really. It's very toasty in the end. It hangs out for a while.
I kind of think of it in the same way you think of... You ever have those caramels with the cream thing in the center? Those like cowtails? Just like that.
It has the cream, but the cream will be gone, and you'll be left with this caramel, and in this case a bit of nuts.
Explosion.
Just, it's quite what would you... Man, that would pair with a few things. This is good because it's the two sides in my mind of dessert wine. You have either the very fruit, you know, red, ripe berry flavors, and then you have the other side, which is this sweet, nutty, toffee, caramel.
White, I made these, but I would instantly pair this with, I made some white chocolate Samoas the other day with the toasted coconut and the caramel and the homemade shortbreads. Those would be great for it.
Yeah.
It'll go well with anything with almonds
Yeah,
in it.
definitely.
Or almond sweet prominently, or even I think a pecan tart would be very well with this.
Yes, I like that. It's a good complementary flavor. You'd get that pecan, and this is sweet enough to handle that kind of thing. Not so sweet. This is not like pure Pedro Ximenez, for example, but
That would be nearly black.
but definitely sweet enough to handle any of these sort of semi-sweet sweet desserts. Anything you would garnish with a nut flavor, really. But this is your guy.
It's delicious. All right, so we've got KWV this week, $8. We've got the Osborne. That one's going to be 10. Both these will stick around your house for about, well, the sherry will hold probably for maybe 3 to 6. The KWV will hold you at least 2 to 3. But at that price range, I mean, you can't argue with it. So go pick up a bottle, go give it a try. As for First Pour Wine, feel free to get a hold of us at firstpourwine@gmail.com. You can also go to our site, www.firstpourwine.com, or get us on Twitter at firstpourwine. Also, we're still looking for more Facebook followers, so go on, hit us up on there. We look forward to talking with you. And
as I said earlier, pick up one of these, take them home, try one of your favorite desserts, and tell us what you think. We're really interested to hear what you're tasting at home and what your experiences are pairing these wines with some of our suggestions or your own choices.
yeah, think we're crazy? Tell us, let us know. Let's talk.